All right, it is 9 o'clock on the dot. Welcome to this 9 a.m. hour of Good Day Chicago. Here's a look at some of the stories we're following.
Listen, I don't know who wrote this part. I don't think it was an athlete. Maybe a poet. Don't cry because it's ever over. Smile because it happened.
I like that. That's a good way of
positive.
It's a very good way of looking at it. I just don't think any athlete would agree with it.
I don't want to see this play.
The Bears ended their run with some heartbreak, but Chicago still so proud of the season they had. We have reaction from faithful fans. We're still riding with them.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Right.
there you go.
All right, well, it is Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Roseanne is taking us over to Morgan Park High School. The hundreds of volunteers are preparing to honor the civil rights leader.
The wind added to a nasty commute for many this morning, and it may look a little quieter now, but it is still bitterly cold. Caitlin Cody's keeping tabs on the wind chills, the wind gusts, but at least the sun is out, isn't it? Let's put the positive spin on it.
Yes, the sunshine. But my goodness, Kaplan and I were talking about our drive-in this morning. I saw some slick spots out there, so don't be overconfident when you're driving around this morning. But talking about the cold, we all have the cold. Cold weather advisory in place until noon because the wind chill, that feel-like temperature at 20 to 25 degrees below zero. So it is dangerously chilly out there. Actual temperature 1 degree below zero at the lakefront, as well as O'Hare. 2 degrees below zero in Aurora. Temperatures in northwest Indiana right around 1 to 5. But take a look at that feel-like temperature. When we have temperatures, the actual temperature below zero, along with gusty winds, that's what's pushing these temperatures to feel like we could be around 23 degrees below zero at the lakefront, 22 degrees below zero at O'Hare, 26 degrees below zero in Aurora. Just know that it is dangerously cold. Limit your exposure outside if you can. Throughout the day today, it's going to remain below zero, that wind chill around 10 degrees below zero even this afternoon. So here's our futurecast. Temperatures are going to be in the single digits later on today, right around 5 to 10 degrees. But notice we do have some sunshine out there, which will be lovely looking. But then tonight it is going to get cold again into early tomorrow. Talk about temperatures tomorrow. This is 11:30 on your Tuesday, so heading towards lunchtime, and the actual temperature is going to be in the mid-teens, with temperatures pushing into the 20s as our high. But then we have the chance for snow tomorrow night into Wednesday. We could see some snow around. And then temperatures are going to be dropping big time as we wrap up the week and head into the weekend. Friday and Saturday, the single digits will be here. A full check of your 7-day forecast is ahead.
Davis at 42 online, and it's good. And the Los Angeles Rams go to the championship game.
I was watching that thing, and what if he misses? But deep breaths. But he didn't miss, and the Bears' Cinderella season comes to an end.
It was a surprising twist after an incredible throw by quarterback Caleb Wood. You thought last week's fourth down pass was something. Oh, my gosh. It pushed both teams into overtime.
Yeah, we really were there. You know, it was like, oh, my goodness. We're going to win this game after that. Yeah, it was amazing. Cole Kmet, great catch, too. The Bears take that moment. They run with it until Williams' pass deep downfield gets intercepted. It was supposed to be going to DJ Moore. I don't know what happened. But that's where the tide turned. The Rams get into Bears territory, field goal range, make that final kick to win it 20-17. Just that look of like, oh, winner take all. You know, defeated and your season is over right there. More than 60,000 fans waited to give the Bears a standing ovation as they deserved as they were walking off the field. Many of the players say it was their favorite season they have ever had.
In these moments, you feel that you let your team down, or you feel that you know this or that, and you know it's a good lesson learned for us. First time being in a situation for me and for us as a team, and you know I'm excited for you know what's to come.
You know, this will be hopefully a feeling in this locker room that we won't forget, and we'll be able to use it as fuel going forward.
And as you might imagine, the reaction from fans ranged from disappointment to pride. This is a look at the playoff bracket there. The Bears season comes to an end in the AFC Championship. You're going to have the Broncos at New England, and in the NFC, you've got the Rams traveling to Seattle.
All right, so here we go from here. You were talking about the Rams getting ready to go to Seattle.
Yeah, and Seattle looks unbeatable this point. We'll see how.
They were strong this weekend.
Oh boy,
I still think we should have been going.
Today, the nation remembers the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. MLK Day is held the third Monday in January.
Dr. King was one of the most prominent figures during the civil rights movement. His speeches on injustice, racism, and inequality were heard all over the country. He delivered his famous I Have a Dream speech in 1963 as 250,000 people marched on Washington. And members of the King family marked the holiday this weekend at his memorial in D.C. Martin Luther King III and his wife, Andrea Waters King, laid a wreath reflecting on Dr. King's legacy. They emphasized civil rights and voting rights as they remain an urgent worry, calling Dr. King's message of justice and equity as relevant now as ever.
If you look around today, you see every hue, every race, religion, ethnicity, age coming together, really pondering and thinking about peace, justice, and equity. So we know that there is a true hunger for the message of King now more than ever. And as we look into our 250th anniversary as a nation, I think it's up to each and every one of us to decide what type of nation will we have.
Communities all over the country are honoring Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. today with a day of service.
And there are events across the city and suburbs. The Chicago History Museum granting free admission to Illinois residents as a part of their celebration. The Art Institute is hosting family-friendly activities inspired by Dr. King. Mayor Brandon Johnson is attending the annual Rainbow Push MLK Breakfast. That's happening right now. And he's also expected to attend the Chicago annual MLK Day of Service at Morgan Park High School, where Roseanne has been all morning.
That's right. Volunteers are getting ready for a big ceremony there. Roseanne, what's the latest?
I can't hear you at all because I'm in the eye of the storm. We're at Morgan Park High School, where AmeriCorps and City Year volunteers are greeting the volunteers as they arrive. Yes, they are getting everybody pumped up for a day of service in honor of Dr. Martin Luther King. I have Valencia Coker with me, and she is the Senior Vice President and Executive of City Year. And thank you for talking to us this morning.
No, good morning. It's an absolute pleasure to have you here to feel the joy on this wonderful day of service.
Yes, and talk about that, because I know you do this year-round, City Year and AmeriCorps, but what special meaning does Dr. Martin Luther King Day add?
Yes. So to us, we really appreciate the opportunity to live out his legacy by rolling our sleeves up and showing our service in action. And that's why at City Year, we believe that this is not a day off. This is a day on.
Right? And you have about 700 volunteers, I hear, arriving. We've already seen many of them. They're still getting their marching orders. But tell us about what they're going to do here to beautify the school.
Yes, so we're excited. We have a multitude of projects, near 40 projects. Some of them will be painting murals that can stand the test of time. Some of them will be creating bracelets and things like that for an elementary school. And they'll also be painting on some canvases as well.
So this is a day that really makes everybody feel good. The volunteers get a lot out of it, but the recipients of your hard work also. Talk about that. What are the people here at Morgan Park High School, how do they feel about being the recipient of this?
I'm sure they're elated. I was a former principal as well, and sometimes it's hard with limited resources to be able to do some of the projects, the beautification that you desire. And so I'm sure Principal Kuzma is elated that we're here, and I'm sure they can't wait for their students to come in on Tuesday, tomorrow, to see what we have left behind. But it means so much.
Wow. And I want to applaud all of you volunteers. Thank you for being with us today. Well done. And so, again, they are just greeting the troops. They're going to get their marching orders, and we can't wait to see the finished product here at Morgan Park. Thank you so much for talking to us this morning. Back to you guys in the studio.
Roseanne, how could you not be hyped with that spirit tunnel?
Yeah. That's fantastic, Roseanne. All right, a reminder, federal and local businesses are going to be closed for this holiday. And don't go to the bank. Be wasting your time there. Post office, not going to happen. No mail, nor package delivery from them. But regular business is going to pick back up tomorrow. A lot of restaurants, grocery stores, retail businesses are likely to stay open today. Turning now to growing tensions between the U.S. and Europe after President Donald Trump announced a 10% tariff on countries opposing American control of Greenland.
That includes Denmark, Norway, Sweden, France, Germany, the UK, the Netherlands, and Finland. President Trump says that he will raise tariffs again in June unless there's a deal for the U.S. to purchase Greenland. President Trump will travel this week to the World Economic Forum in Switzerland, where he'll be running into many of those European leaders.
Well, back on U.S. soil now, the Pentagon says 1,500 active duty soldiers are on standby for a possible deployment to Minnesota. Now, President Trump has threatened to invoke the 19th Century Insurrection Act to stop protests in Minneapolis. Tensions have been growing since an ICE agent shot and killed a woman earlier this month during the Trump administration's crackdown on immigration there. At the same time, the Justice Department is opening an investigation into Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey over claims that they are impeding federal agents' abilities to do their job. Walz did not address the investigation directly, but in a social media post, he states, weaponizing the justice system against your opponent is an authoritarian tactic. Mayor Frey called the investigation an intimidation tactic. You know, the Nobel Foundation says the 2025 Peace Prize awarded to Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Corina Machado cannot be reassigned even after she actually presented the medal to President Trump at the White House.
Machado, who was honored for advancing democracy in Venezuela, gave President Trump the medal last week as a personal gesture of gratitude. The foundation emphasizes, though, that the award cannot be revoked, shared, or transferred. President Trump, though, plans to keep the medal.
Close to home this Friday, Time Out Market is closing its Fulton Market food hall for good. Time Out Market CEO Michael Marley says the decision comes down to inconsistent food traffic and higher operation costs. Sam Toya, president and CEO of the Illinois Restaurant Association, says restaurants are still feeling the effects of hybrid and work from home schedules.
So when they opened these food halls, again, as I mentioned earlier, we had over 600,000 people coming down to the Central Business District. A lot of them were going out to lunch. Inflation wasn't as high. That was their model. Then inflation went up so big, and we only have 60% of the people working downtown because of these hybrid work schedules, and I think that's the problem.
Time Out will continue to operate its food-centric website.
And it's important to note they are closing several other of their stores around the country. I think there's only maybe one or two that are going to continue on. Chicago's annual Restaurant Week is back, though. Celebration of all the city's culinary delights kicks off on Friday. More than 550 restaurants are participating. That's the most ever. That means you can experience fine dining on a fixed price. Love this, okay? $30 for lunch, either $45 or $60 for dinner. This is the city's 19th Restaurant Week. It runs January 23rd to February 8th. It's a wonderful chance to experience a new restaurant maybe you never tried before.
Yeah, I love like trying to go to a new neighborhood that you maybe haven't spent much time in before. Well, the college football national title game is tonight. Heisman winning quarterback Fernando Mendoza and #1 ranked Indiana will take on Miami. The game is being played at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. If the Hoosiers win, it'll be their first championship in school history. It would be the Hurricanes' first championship since 2001. Coming up, we're going to be talking to a reporter about some of the aspects of that game.
I thought tomorrow would be the day that Anthony was off.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Not today.
Well, he's got to get off today and tomorrow if he's going.
All right, well, with the bitter cold blowing through Chicago right now, we want to remind you that the Bears are hosting their 37th annual coat drive.
Their great works go well beyond the field, you know, and the Bears, along with Joel Osco, Salvation Army, and Sherway Movers, are asking for your coat donations. Just drop them off at participating Joel Osco now through February 16th. You can find more information online at chicagobears.com/coat drive. It is so cold out there today, everybody. This is the view from our 2800 camera. If you can help somebody else out, definitely do so. It's about 9:15. We're back after this.
It looks sped up.
Boom! Next thing I know, I'm starting to
Well, tonight is the night, and the stage is set. The #1 Indiana Hoosiers will take on Miami at Hard Rock Stadium right at their own backyard. Here to preview the big national title game is Indy Star college sports reporter Zach Osterman. Thanks so much for being here, Zach.
Hey, thanks for having me.
I want to start with Indiana isn't your typical traditional powerhouse. How in the world did they pull off this run, and what does that say about the state of their program right now?
Yeah, I mean, it's a combination of, I think, a couple of things. Curt Cignetti is obviously the driving force, Indiana's second-year head coach. I think the culture, the scheme, the approach that he brought over from James Madison has made the biggest difference. He will tell you, he said many times, that this probably doesn't happen sort of as quickly or as rapidly as it has without the transfer portal, without name, image, and likeness opportunities, and the ability to compensate players, making it sort of easier to, in kind of the modern terms, flip a roster and really kind of turn from a sort of personnel perspective this program around so quickly. But it really has kind of been just kind of this perfect intersection of, I think, a coach and a place and time and a program that I think was, through its fan base, through its donors, through all the resources it wanted to provide, sort of hungry to fuel this success when it started to taste it last season. And certainly I don't think anyone expected it to go this far, this fast. But as it gained steam, there was just sort of a limitless well of support for continuing to push it further and further upward.
Man, a lot of Indiana fans kind of coming out of the woodworks for this one for sure. But Indiana's offense has pretty much carved up every defense they've faced so far this year. Miami is led by a powerful defensive line. So who do you think has the advantage there?
Yeah, I think that is, to me, the matchup that decides this game. Miami is probably the most disruptive defensive line in the country. They lead the nation in sacks. They're one of the top teams in the nation in quarterback pressures. Indiana has been able to keep Fernando Mendoza clean. They've been able to keep their offense on schedule all season. We've seen them. I mean, there's a very good chance this is the best rushing attack in Indiana history once tonight is over. At least from a statistical perspective, they've been a very balanced offense. If that Miami pass rush plays a large role in this game, then I think it gives the Hurricanes a good chance to win. If Indiana can neutralize it, I don't think there are a lot of other meaningful paths to victory for Miami. I think that Miami pass rush against Indiana's offensive line, and maybe more broadly, Indiana's offensive game plan, their run-pass balance, how well they can stay on schedule, what kinds of throws they ask Fernando Mendoza to make. If Indiana wins that matchup, I think Indiana wins the game.
And tonight's game is being played in Miami with the Hurricanes literally playing in their home stadium. What impact, if any, do you think that'll have on tonight's outcome?
Yeah, I think there will still be a healthy amount of cream and crimson in the stands. I don't think it will necessarily look like the Rose Bowl, which was probably 80-20 IU fans. The Peach Bowl was probably better than 90-10. I certainly don't think Indiana is going to enjoy that kind of home field advantage. But I also don't think you're going to see a true road environment for Miami either. I think that, there will at least, I suspect, be maybe 25 to 30% of the stadium will be Indiana fans, maybe even more. There's obviously, for a game like this, that large block of sort of neutral corporate tickets. It's not really clear who's going to claim more of those seats. But I think you are still, even though this is obviously Miami in Miami, as you said, at Hard Rock Stadium, I think there's still going to be a healthy amount of Indiana noise coming from corners of that building when and if, I suppose, things go well for the Hoosiers.
Yeah, we'll wait and see if the Hoosiers can pull it out tonight against Miami. Zach Osterman from the Indianapolis Star, thanks so much for your time this morning.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
All right, time now 9:20. We'll have much more to come this morning on Good Day Chicago.
It is being called a living documentary, a project that is telling the stories of immigration and Chicago. And this morning, the creator and a couple of the actors in this project are joining us to dive into the details. Northwestern journalism professor and Emmy award-winning video journalist, we have Craig Duff here, and actors Amber Dow and Zimbo Jesser. Thank you, all three of you, for coming in here. First of all, Craig, tell us a little bit about Sanctuary Stories. What makes it a living documentary, as you're calling it?
Well, I'm a filmmaker. I've been doing that for a number of years, and a video journalist, and I'm also an actor. And I was thinking of ways to try to combine those two things. So what I've done in this project is we've gathered stories, verbatim interviews with people. We turned them into monologues, and then I go out and I've gathered footage, sometimes of the person who's we're portraying, and sometimes just atmospheric footage and sound and things like that that play along with it. And then also, we have original music that's part of it as well, and imagery and all that stuff. So it's sort of bringing that sort of imagery to the stage and marrying, my video and my theater worlds together.
And are you happy with that marriage so far, Craig?
The marriage is going well. We're in the honeymoon phase of that marriage.
I like how you spin that one. Zimbo, what is your background?
Yes, I'm a Vietnamese American, first generation, and I grew up mostly here in Chicago, but been back and forth a lot.
Okay. What has being part of this project meant for you? What's it like telling these stories?
First of all, the character I'm portraying, who is a Rohingya citizen.
Myanmar?
From Myanmar.
Okay.
And I find a lot of pieces of his story I resonate with because my parents are Vietnamese, and so what they went through is almost similar to what he went through, and I find the stories very human and just so deep.
Okay.
And sensitive.
Are your parents here? Or are they back in Vietnam? Where are they? Have they been able to see you do this? And if so, what do they think?
They have not seen me yet, but I've been pressuring them to come.
Talk to Craig. He can probably get you tickets.
I gotta get a ticket.
I know a guy.
Yeah, they lived in Chicago for a little bit, but now they moved out. They want to go for somewhere quieter.
All right, very good. Too much excitement with the Bears going on around here. Amber, how do you think the audience is responding to these stories of immigration?
There's been great response. It's a very moving piece because you see so many different aspects of Illinois immigration. So you not only see immigrant stories, but also there's clergy. I play Pastor Beth.
I was going to say, you are a clergy.
Pastor Beth, yes. So there's clergy stories, 3 different ones. And you get to understand how the immigration movement kind of, and Chicago as a sanctuary city kind of came to be and how it's grown over the years. And these people who put themselves out every single day in the name of immigrants and immigration advocacy, it's just incredible. So people have been extremely moved. They've told me they've been moved to tears. They've told me, and I think also it brings a lot of different groups of people together. It's not just the typical theater goer. It's just all different kinds of groups. And in that way, I feel like it encourages people who are fighting for immigrants to go out there and fight the good fight and continue what they're doing.
We heard, wonderful remarks here from Amber. Craig, what do you personally want the audience to take from this?
Well, I want them to, they maybe watch the news here on Fox 32 every night and see what's happening sort of now, but giving them a deeper story of sort of some of the people behind all of that. And giving us a moving story and meeting people that they wouldn't have otherwise met as they see them on stage.
If folks want to see this show, how do they do it? Where do they come to watch this?
Unfortunately, we're sold out.
What?
Well, unfortunately for you,
Zimbo's parents want to come and see this thing.
I might be able to squeeze them in, but yeah. So we sold out our show. We have to get out. Our Invictus Theater Company is doing Cat on a Hot Tin Roof in a space.
Never heard of that one.
Right. Yeah. So we have to get out of the way, but we've raised enough money doing this particular run that we're going to
on the road.
We're going to taking it out into the city. Hopefully on the road, maybe to other cities too. So.
Well, that's wonderful. Is there like a website or something folks can go to?
I would say best Instagram, Sanctuary Stories Chicago will be the best place to find us.
Very good. Well, Amber, Craig, and Zimbo, thank you for coming in here. Continued success with the program. Obviously, it's a hit if you are sold out here.
Absolutely.
And, you know, maybe take this nationally, right? I mean,
yeah, why not?
It could happen. All right. Thank you for being with us this morning, especially on such a cold day. We're going to come right back. In fact, I've got the weather forecast and some incredible pictures from this morning coming right up.
The decision to extract.
.930 straight up. Look at that beautiful scene there. We've got sunshine, some clouds out over the lake. And every building and every person exhaling, you can see the steam coming out. It is cold. Oh, my gosh. I'm waiting to see weather. We've hit 2 below zero this morning. That would tie for the coldest this entire winter. It's already the coldest day so far this year. At O'Hare, 1 below zero. Perfectly sunny. I mean, it's a gorgeous blue sky. But look at that ice that has already formed just like that. A few days ago, there was no ice out there. Wind chill. Ouch. A 22 below zero wind chill. These are the current temperatures. 0 at Midway, 1 at Valparaiso, 2 below in Sugar Grove, 3 below at Woodstock. And the winds are still pretty strong. We've got gusts of more than 30 at a lot of locations, including Valparaiso, Gary, O'Hare, Waukegan, and Aurora. Grundy County, LaSalle County, it is windy, so you're looking at wind chills that are painful to be out there for any period of time. 20 below is the wind chill, Merrillville, Valparaiso. Feels like 23 below at Midway, 25 below. Look at all this, Rockford, DeKalb, and Woodstock. That's why we have this. The cold weather advisory generally issued when we're going to get wind chills between 20 and 25 below zero. It's in effect for all of Chicagoland until noon. But at 12:01, nothing miraculous is going to happen. It will still be really cold out there. Now, the falling snow is over. What we have is some blowing snow, which can still create some problems on roadways. With temperatures like we have now, salt does basically nothing. So you get another coating of snow blowing in from the field over there, and that road could be slippery. Drive with caution. 18. What? Yeah, that happened at midnight. That's our high for the day. West winds at 15 to 30. We'll have temperatures that are going to stay in the low single digits, I think, pretty much all afternoon long, despite plenty of sunshine. Tonight, temperatures going to hover right around 0 to 3. Steady temperatures, won't be as windy with mostly clear skies. Tomorrow, low 20s. Then tomorrow night into Wednesday morning, we get a little bit of snow in here. At this point, I'm not expecting much. And the farther north you are, the more likely you are to maybe pick up about an inch or so, let's say Lake and McHenry County. We'll hit 30 on Wednesday, and then look at this nonsense. Highs maybe staying in the single digits here Friday, Saturday, not much better on Sunday, but no significant snowstorms in sight, but no 40s and no 50s either. Some amazing pictures here. First of all, let's take a look at this. This is not, that is not, first of all, it's not a red-tailored hawk. There is such a thing as a red-tailed hawk, but I wrote back to Marty Kerpeel in Downers Grove. I said, actually, that is not a red-tailed hawk. This is a Cooper's hawk, and upon further inspection, it looks to me like that might actually be an adult one. The juvenile, the young birds, tend to have a yellow eye. The adult birds have a red eye, but in any event, that is a Cooper's hawk. You know what they love to eat? Other birds. But Marty, thank you for sending in that picture. Happy to help you out with the bird ID. This is a sunrise. I didn't have to help Anna with that one at all. That is over Old Mill Creek. That's in northern Lake County, out there by where Temple Smith has Lipizans and Applegate. That is a lovely scene there looking off to the east under that nice oak tree. Photo number 3. We're in Hebron, Indiana. Lori Anderson giving us a look at some of the clouds there, probably out over the lake based on, well, let's see. No, you're looking, I think you're looking off to the south. Hard to say for sure, but in any event, like a wall of cloud cover out there. Lastly, but not leastly, here's a picture from my wife. And I told her to go out and snap a picture of this. I mentioned this during one of the earlier newscasts when it popped up on one of our live cameras. This is called the 22-degree solar halo, and off to the side you've got 2 brilliant sundogs, a fancy name for those, parhelia, but this is caused by ice crystals in the sky, in this case little snowflakes, and extreme cold temperatures. A fine time to see that. I know a lot of you have seen that beautiful halo in the sky this morning.
That is
Brian?
amazing.
That is amazing, right? Well, this morning, the country is honoring Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. for an annual tradition here in Chicago is the Rainbow Push MLK Breakfast.
There's so much history right here in our city. Gabriella Primus is live at the Breakfast Now, where the theme this year is building a beloved community. Good morning, Gabby.
That truly is. And you know, there's MLK events going on all around Chicago right now, and I really encourage you to get out there and seek some in your community. But yes, like you said, you know, but this MLK commemoration weekend has been going on for really 37 years, put on by no other than Rainbow Push Coalition, as you said. And yeah, you're taking a look at the breakfast right now. You know, a lot of people here networking and spans throughout the morning. This year, journalist Don Lemon will headline the event, and the Leo High School Choir has been performing. 8 people will be honored with the Trailblazing and Excellence Award for Innovation, Leadership, and Impact in their fields. Now, Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson, Illinois Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton, Illinois Secretary of State Alexi Giannoulias, and more are in this crowd. Just seeing Alexi Giannoulias just sit down right now. The breakfast was spanned through most of the morning, like I said, here at the Fairmont Chicago on North Columbus Drive with a strong message. Again, like I said, Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton is here and took to the podium. You know, she brought up parallels with MLK's fight all those years ago and current conditions that we're seeing now.
Parallels between the moment in history when Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. stepped up to lead and the moment that we are in right now. We are at a crossroads, and at every crossroads in history, progress has come because ordinary people chose courage over comfort. People like my dad, Henry, who marched from Selma to Montgomery because he believed change was possible when good people refused to stay silent. When he was asked why he marched, he simply said, "I didn't like how human beings were being treated." It sounds familiar, doesn't it?
So the Push legacy moves on, and more importantly, so does Dr. King. He lives on as well. And events just like this, again, I encourage you, to look around your community, see what's happening this afternoon, later this morning, and see if you can attend. Of course, we're here at the MLK Breakfast, downtown Chicago. We're going to be chatting with some others here, listening to some of the other speakers who come up. I encourage you to go to our website too, fox32chicago.com. There you can find some more information about events that are happening maybe in your neck of the woods. I'll send it back to you.
Gabby, thank you. And of course, Rainbow Push, formed by Reverend Jesse Jackson, who walked right side by side with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. right up to the day that he was shot and killed in Memphis, Tennessee. And you did see some of his children standing right behind the lieutenant governor there. As city leaders come together to honor Dr. King, volunteers from across Chicago are coming together to follow his lead and serve the community.
Roseanne joins us live now with how students are taking part in a day of service. Hey, Roseanne.
Hey, well, these are actually City Year and AmeriCorps volunteers who are helping out to beautify Morgan Park High School. So we're in the cafeteria where everybody's gathering and getting their marching orders, their volunteers. Now, some people are also partners in this operation, like the ComEd volunteers you see at that table. There are also people from a company called Little Fuse. That's a tech company. So they have a lot of partners. There's also Southpaw, I should mention. I'm not sure exactly how Southpaw is participating, but I tell you, he got a rousing welcome when he walked in the room, that's for sure. So let's find out more about this operation. I have the principal with me now. This is Dan Kuzman and a couple of volunteers. I'll introduce quickly: Trinice Washington, Landon Stubbs. We're going to be talking to all of them. But Principal Kuzma, let's start with you. And these are the City Year also volunteers year-round at your school, participating in a different way. Tell us what they typically do.
Yeah, so City Year Corps members, they pair with some of our more veteran teachers, and they serve more or less as teachers' assistants. When we first partnered with City Year, one of the City Year leads said, we want you not to see the individuals in City Year as volunteers or as AmeriCorps volunteers. We want you to see them as future teachers, future deans, future counselors, future assistant principals, and future principals. So that's why we really value the partnership, and we look at trying to work alongside them and really grow them as young professionals in a way that's reflective of that. And your reaction when you found out that you were going to be the recipient of the Day of Service and 700 volunteers were going to be headed here? Yeah, I took a deep breath first, but afterwards, it's really exciting, and there's just so much energy in the building today, so I'm really grateful and appreciative of it. And the part that you don't see here today is our students and families at Morgan Park. Our students are doing a great job this year. So for City Year to highlight and recognize Morgan Park on such an important day like today, I think it's really reflective of what our students and families bring to the table every day, and I'm just really grateful and proud for everything involved. Well, let me ask these volunteers here, Trinice and Landon. Trinice, let's start with you. What do you get out of this?
I get a lot out of it. I actually grown a lot of patience. I became more humble, and I leave really big impacts on the students I work with. It's actually grown me as a person as well, knowing that I can have a City Year mentor of my own when I was a freshman, and now become one as I'm growing into the years. Yes, well, that is awesome. Congratulations for that, Landon. I know you're getting the similar experience. What does it mean, especially on this day, on Martin Luther King Day, to be participating in something as big as today?
Absolutely, yeah, it's very special, and it's very fulfilling. The work we do is literally on display, and it's always a good feeling to see that. We feel very inspired by the youth, and we also strive to do the same for the youth. And yeah, we're here for a greater good, and that's the work that we do every day. So it's definitely great. Well, a great big thank you. I know that everybody here at Morgan Park High School is grateful, and so is your community. So you go. We're all very proud of the volunteers taking part in this event today at Morgan Park High School. They're getting ready to get their assignments and start doing the work. So we'll be here watching them as they beautify the whole school. Back to you guys now in the studio.
700 volunteers.
Amazing.
Turnout, wow.
Fantastic way of honoring his legacy.
For sure. All right, time is now 9:42 on this MLK Monday. We'll be right back.
Here.
Welcome back, everyone. It's about 9:45 right now, and this morning, the Chicago History Museum is showcasing the first ever staged reading of Lawndale King. It is a play that centers around Dr. King's life in 1966 when he and his family moved to Chicago's West Side. So here to tell us more is Chicago's playwright, the show's playwright, Willie Round, and artistic director and actor Anthony Mosley, who plays none other than Mayor Richard M. Daley in the show. Good morning to you both. Thanks so much for being here.
Morning. Thanks for having us.
Appreciate the time to chat about this. Willie, let me start with you. Just tell us how you discovered this history and why you felt it needed to be in stage form.
Absolutely. Well, I discovered this history while I was a student at Central State University. I was taking an African-American history class, and I flipped open the book, and there was a picture of Martin Luther King hanging out the window of 1550 South Hamlin, which is in my neighborhood.
Wow.
And I was in Ohio at the time. And so when I saw that, it just inspired me then as a youth in college, like why didn't I hear about this before? It took me to go to Ohio to see this and hear about this. So we never been taught it in our school. I went to school in grammar school in North Lawndale. So fast forward, I always held on to that. And the purpose was so that kids in North Lawndale, Chicago kids, can always now see the story and understand what it was for Martin Luther King living in our neighborhood.
Sure, because especially for kids, you know, when you see things that are across the country, you may not connect with it the same way that you do when you're hearing about something that literally happened on your street, the historical figure on your street. Yeah, totally different feeling when it comes to that. So tell me about this, Anthony. What does it mean to be a part of something like this, bringing this greater message to Chicagoland and beyond?
Collaborative Action is all about theater for social change and excavating our history so that we can look at it from today. And if you don't know your history, you're doomed to repeat it. And so it's an honor. And, you know, Willie is a Collaborative Action company member. He co-adapted our play Trial in the Delta about the trial of the murderers of Emmett Till. And, you know, stars have aligned to bring this together today at the Chicago History Museum. So making new history at the History Museum and making sure people understand what happened and what was going on in Chicago back then. You know, we like to think Chicago is this great democratic, liberal place, but you know, there's a lot of issues back then, and there's still issues today, and we're not gonna be able to change unless we know what happened and we get inspired to take action to change.
So important that people know the fullness of history, right? And Collaborative Action. I love that. Just break it down a little bit more for anybody who doesn't fully get that when they hear it.
So, I mean, you know, Collaborative Action, coming together to get things done, you know, and so we create theater that inspires new knowledge, empathy, dialogue, and action. We call that KEDA. That's our methodology. You come see Lawndale King, you're gonna learn about Dr. King. You're gonna learn about the housing issues that we faced back then. And then you're gonna grow some empathy. You're gonna feel for the characters and for the people. We talk about it, and then let's take some action.
Quickly, where can we go? What do we need to do to be there to see it?
Today at the Chicago History Museum at 1 p.m. Please be there. We're having a stage reading of Lawndale King at the Chicago History Museum at 1 p.m.
It's free.
We encourage everybody to come out. Use this day to learn a little bit more. Thank you both for being here. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
All right. It's about 9:50, everyone. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
We have
I didn't know this. It's National Popcorn Day. And a local spot in Northwest Indiana has 250 handcrafted flavors to celebrate.
Ooh, this would be a dangerous assignment for me, so I'm glad I'm not there. We're heading over to Chicagoland Popcorn to talk to the owner, Dwayne Walker, to see what's popping. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Doing all right, and especially now that we get to hear and see all of this.
I want to taste it. We're not that good. I want to be there.
We don't have enough time for 250 flavors. You obviously got some wild ones. What's the most maybe surprising or unusual flavor out of that 250 that customers just can't get enough of?
Well, one of them is our loaded baked potato, which is a big popular flavor. And then we have a couple of custom flavors that we made. One is for the state of Indiana. We made one called Who's Your Sugar Cream Pie, which is right here.
Oh, my.
And that was for the travel industry. And then we have one for Purdue Northwest Crunch right there. But one of our most popular is the loaded baked potato. Then we have one called Cheese Coated Caramel. And then over here on this tray, we have green apple, blackberry, and one called birthday cake.
Oh my goodness, they all sound so delightful.
Yeah, it's all low calorie too if you just eat a handful a day and drink nothing but water, okay?
I'm trying to remember that for sure. You know, you guys have been in business for 11 years, which encompasses the pandemic and so much more, I'm sure. What keeps you all striving for your dreams?
Well, one of the things is vision. You know, we've had a vision for our business for 11 years, as was mentioned. And you mentioned the pandemic and now inflation and the cost of labor. I mean, we have 2 locations, but I think we're going to be closing one of those locations. So we were able to buy this building here and the acreage thanks to a friend of mine, but we want to expand and actually grow the business. But our vision is what keeps us, and also our commitment to the community. I have in the shop with me an individual, one of our volunteer efforts is the ESEER Foundation, which I've been a part of for 8 years, and today happened to be the shadowing day for one of our mentees, Elijah Hassler. And so this is his first day, and he's on news the first day, which is an incredible first day.
Nice. Did he have to slide a $10 tip your way, Dwayne, just to get that honor?
No, but really just being a part of the community. We made, part of our vision when we started the business was to be involved in the community. So not only do we mentor and get involved in organizations like ESEER, I've been with this for, like I said, 8, almost 9 years, but we also feature local entrepreneurs. One of those is a great story, a friend of mine who actually came up with the flavor of lemonade because he used to be a diabetic before, on dialysis before he had a kidney transplant, and so he made a great flavor of lemonade that actually is sweetened by the fruit, so it's diabetic friendly, and now he's not diabetic because he got a transplant. So anyway, it's great. Yeah. So being involved in the community and having a vision.
That's fantastic. What's popping at Chicagoland Popcorn. Dwayne, we appreciate you and your sidekick for joining us this morning there, and we'll be right back after this.
I grew up on a farm in a small town.
All right, 9:57 right now, when we've been showing you all of the different things happening here in Chicago for Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and now we're looking to D.C., where they have a MLK ceremony that's happening as we speak as well. Cities across the country are honoring the civil rights leader, as we all should. This is a day on that we can commemorate his legacy. We're going to be right back to close out the show.
This program is